By means of the next session, the speaker will be providing you with useful tips through which you can gain the attention of your target audience. Please welcome up Mr. Atreyi Basu. He's the founder and business head from Verdura Care.
So, good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? So, hope all of you are having a good time. The last 2 days have been great. So, did you check Dubai? Did you like it? So, yeah, actually, this is the tourist season mainly. So, most of the areas are very crowded, pretty crowded. I was in Dubai Mall last night, and it was so crowded. And every half an hour, you have those fountain and the music's going on. So, it's sometimes gets very annoying, in fact. So, in fact, I had a great time in the last 2 days meeting with some inspiring people, going through some insightful speeches and presentations, and of course, making some good connections whom I will be in touch with definitely while I go back. So before I start with this very simple and very important, yet very important topic, which is the power of the inbox, let me introduce myself to you, because most of you might be thinking that who is this person and why she's here talking about this topic. Because I don't own an agency, I don't own a marketing agency, neither do I work for a marketing agency. So why exactly I'm here? So I'm Atreyi Basu. Since the last 15 years of my career, I have been working in the marketing and communications department of various leading brands across the globe. I started my career with Unilever India in the brand division. And then a major part of my career in India was with Times of India's brand capital division. So those guys who are from India here will mostly be knowing about that Times of India does have an investment wing, which is called Brand Capital, and they do invest in companies by providing them with ad currencies and help them with brand communication solutions to brand across their media platforms. So that is what I was doing there. Since more than a decade now, I'm settled here. And I was leading program communications for Doha Metro, which is one of the leading infrastructure projects in this region, and with several other brands like Pepsi, Monoprix, Procter & Gamble, etc. So right now, since the last 1 year, I'm leading my own company and managing my own company, which is called Verdura Care Private Limited, and which manages and runs the award-winning platform, online platform, myverduracare.com. So the name itself of a company is self-explanatory. Verdura means green. So our company prides itself in bringing eco-friendly, sustainable, and fair trade products, which are not only good for our customers, but also for our planet. So the main pillars of our organization is sustainable approach, 1, proactive empowerment, 2, naturally innovative designs, 3, and curating unique experiences for our customers. So I might be reaching out to some of you after this conference, because of course I will be needing your help for my organization. So it's good that I share my pillars with you now. So let's move to the presentation. So let's get started with our topic for the day. Yep, so since my session is right before lunch, and this is the last day, so I won't take too much time of yours, and I've kept it very short, crisp, and to the point with just simple 10 slides. So in this fast-track age of innovative marketing tools, what do we all think of the age-old email marketing? What do you all think? I feel it's like old wine. We just get better by the day, and it has its own flavor and charm. So you can either serve it in old or even a completely new packaging based on the nature and the requirement of your customer, like what exactly they want. So I have kept a simple quote by Eric Harbins, and I totally agree with that, by saying that if social media is like a cocktail party with large number of people interacting and communicating to build a community, then email marketing is actually a one-on-one coffee meetup with your customers, because there is a human touch to it. It is personalized, it's very personalized and creates a lasting impact on the mind of your customers because you're directly interacting with them. You're addressing them personally. So it's actually human nature. It's human nature to feel good if you're made to feel important. And there is some kind of an inherent psychological factor that works within to you inherently go, through psychological factor, you tend to feel closer to a brand that addresses you personally, that addresses you by your name or speaks to you personally. So having said that, what do we think email as a marketing tool stands for in the current scenario and in the age of modern marketing tools? Is it a thing of the past? Because since the last 2 days, we have spoken about all the major innovative marketing tools that we have been using. And email is the, is the age-old tool that we always have been using. So is it too old age? Is it too old school for new age marketing? What do you all think? Because you are all from the agencies. What experience do you have? Like, how do you deal with your clients? How many clients you are dealing with, you use email marketing? Okay. A lot of them, which is really good, which is really encouraging. So we all being marketeers here, we totally believe in the power of data and analytics. So what I've done is I put together some key numbers here, which we can show us the future of emails. So if we go by the numbers, so we see that by 2022, it is estimated that over 347 billion email per day will be sent and received. This figure in 2018 was 269 billion. So that's a jump of more than 100 million emails per day. How many of us have email accounts, more than one email accounts? Okay, a lot of us does. I have 2 email accounts, including my work email. So this figure in 2018, so the survey says, the research says that this figure will be around 1.86 email accounts per user in 2022. All of us here, like most of us are sitting here with our laptops, and definitely we have our phones with us. And of course, we need to check our work emails. We need to check our personal emails as well to be in touch with our family, be in touch with our co-workers and all. So it has been found that people check personal emails 2.5 hours on weekdays during work hours. And next, if we talk about the figures on millennials, how can we forget millennials? 2 out of 3 millennials agree that emails have influenced their buying decision, which is 67% of the research sample. iPhone and Gmail together owns 56% of the market share as the most popular platforms to read emails. What about e-commerce? Most of us buy products online. So with the rise of e-commerce and cutthroat competition, to gain customer attention, it is seen that when an email is sent within an hour of an abundant shopping cart to a customer, there is a 6.33% increase in conversion rate, and that does happen. I have experienced that. I do a lot of online shopping, and I keep putting things in my cart, and then I forget. So whenever there is an email coming to me, it reminds me, okay, I need to go and buy that thing. Even if I don't have that requirement, sometimes it does happen that they have sent me an email, and I said, okay, it's kind of an impulse buying that we do. So every marketing activity boils down to the percentage of ROI. Just one of the keynote speakers before me said that it's not ROI, it should be ROO. I agree with him, I will come to that point later because everything is related to the objective of your organization, objective of the campaign. So efficiency of the tool is also based on that. What is the ROI? It is seen that marketing campaigns involving emails as marketing tools gets 38 times more of the amount spent. So that's a huge number. That's a big number that we can see. So all these figures, these glaring figures are screaming out loudly, telling us that email marketing is still the sought after marketing tool like any other new age marketing tool. And most of you agree that most of you are using actually email marketing for your customers, and I hope you agree with me on that. And who does not have an email account? All of us does. No matter which section of the society or target customers are from. Most of them have an email account. If they have a bank account, if they have a social media presence, they need to have an email account. If they have an online wallet, they all have to have an email account. Not necessarily a person with a social media presence, with an email account will have a social media presence, but it's always the other way around. That not having email is like our home. So not having an email is like, almost being homeless. So now let's get into the most important part. So how should we start with our email marketing campaigns to make best use of this marketing tool? It might look very simple, but should be done with a lot of thought to reap the most out of this tool. I have seen personally many organizations, my organization, the organization we worked for, getting carried away, with all the modern age tools and putting minimal attention to email marketing. Thereby, we used to be spending a lot with a reduced ROI. So now let's see through four simple steps how to start with an email marketing campaign. First and foremost, never ever start the campaign without proper planning, because it is not just about sending the email to someone. It is about sending the right mail to the right set of audience with the right message at the right time. So your campaign must be related to your business objectives. So that is where we come to the ROO that our last keynote speaker spoke about. So try to set your campaign objectives. What results, the most importantly, what results exactly you are looking for? Is it new subscribers that you're looking for? Are you looking to boost engagement? Are you looking to nurture existing subscribers? Do you want to engage subscribers? Or you want to shorten your sales cycle? You want to lower costs? You want to increase sales? So there are a lot of things. There might be a lot of objectives. So finding your objective is very important. So now, once your goals are set, decide whom you want to respond to your objective. Understanding the right audience will help you to create an email content that speaks to specific interests and needs within a particular group. Based on this, create a targeted email list and segment your subscribers. Again, segment your subscribers. Our last speaker also spoke about behavioral targeting, so I'm not going deep into it. So once our objectives are set, once we have done it, we know who we want to respond to our email. Next comes the most important part: create content. What needs to go as a message to the target group? While you develop a content, think how your audience is going to perceive your intention, how they are going to feel, when they are receiving that message. One of the panelists once spoke about that content is not always what's there in the mail, in the written format, or it might be a picture, it might be a visual. Picture sometimes speaks million words. It has to be very striking. Sometimes the artwork might be so appealing that the content is so powerful that you don't need to speak extra words to your audience. So while you develop a content, think how your audience will perceive your intention. Email messages makes more sense to prospects and customers, like when the content you create and deliver is tied together under familiar themes. A theme is the main idea of your entire email campaign. So most objectives can be grouped under four common themes. Like one is promotional themes. We can talk about promotional themes. We can talk about informational themes. We can talk about procedural themes, and we can talk about relational themes. So what kind of themes would be promotional themes? When your main objective is to persuade your audience to make a certain specific purchase decision. For example, you want to send out coupons, you want to send out some testimonials, you want to send out some product images and descriptions with maybe a call to action. What is an informational theme? What kind of a mail will be called an informational theme? Where you want to actually inform audience to help them form certain kind of opinion about your company, about your products. For example, you want to send out some kind of news articles about your organization.
You want to send out some customer stories, customer experience stories to your readers, some kind of narratives from your management, and maybe even calendars, maybe some frequently asked questions. So these all kind of things will fall under informational themes. Next, we move to procedural themes, where your main objective is official instruction. We do need to give official instruction, whether you are doing internal communications or external communications. Your audience are not only your buyers. Your audience are also your employees. So, if you're doing any kind of internal communication, your email communication also plays a vital role. So you might be sending out some kind of official instruction to explain processes. For example, welcoming a new customer or new subscriber, some kind of notification, some kind of disclosures, warranties, which you want to share with them. So these all will be falling under procedural themes. And the fourth one that we need to talk about is, someone was talking about empathy the other day, which I totally agree with. If your marketing communication campaigns do not have empathy, it doesn't relate psychologically with your customer or with the people you are targeting, it will not make any sense at the end of the day, because you're putting in man hours, you're putting in efforts, you're putting so much into behind it. And I know, like while you were speaking this, how agencies have to work so hard to please your clients, because if you go on and on and on, and I know how it used to happen. So yeah, relational. The last theme is relational theme. Your objective is to build and deepen personal relation. So, like for example, greetings. If you want to send out some kind of greetings, you want to send out some kind of customer recognition messages, some kind of stories, or maybe some kind of personal experiences. Next, a very important thing is responsive design. We all have spoken about, I think one of the sessions next will be mobile advertising. So most of us are using or checking emails through mobile platforms. So your design has to be very responsive. It has to be responsive, and it has to be created as per the various devices available. And if I receive an email today and I read it in my laptop and it looks in a certain way, and I open it in my phone, I can't see half of it. Or maybe I'll open it in my iPad and you can see I can't read anything. It doesn't make sense. So the entire effort is lost. So getting into a responsive design is very, very important. About 1/3 consumers uses the subject line, to determine whether to open an email. And all of us does. Like we receive so many emails every day. There are so many spam mails every day. There are so many emails for different kind of business leads and business collaboration and so many other things, selling products. We just read the subject line. We see which email ID it has come from. We just read the subject line and then we take our action. So it is quite difficult. It's quite difficult to come up with a very catchy and effective subject line. Most devices and mobile devices only show first 20 to 30 characters. So how do we do that? State an immediate benefit. Create a sense of urgency that pushes your audience to open that mail. For example, I want to conduct a seminar and I want to send out an invitation to someone, and I write as my subject line as seminar invitation. How many answers will be opening it? I said, okay, there's some similar kind of some seminar invitations again come up, and I'll just overlook it. Now, if we include some value words in our subject line, for example, last chance for such and such seminar registration. Okay, so I just related to the seminar, and like for example, last chance for MatCon registration, for example. So I said, okay, I know MatCon, the platform, I know that it will be really useful to me. And okay, they are saying that this is the last chance for the registration. So I have to open it and I have to see and I have to go and register right now. So that value word and this urgency that was created in the subject line through simple words actually helped. So it helped me to open and their purpose is served. Like the campaign's purpose is to an extent is served because the audience has opened the email. Now, when I open the email, what about the content value? What exactly is inside the mail? The content should be very, very crisp, to the point, without using any flowery language or sales jargon. I do receive lot of mails. When I open it, it's like huge. There we do blah 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 all those things, and there are sales jargons and all flowery words. Okay, by the time I reach to the second paragraph, I'm already bored and I close it. Maybe next mail I'll put it into my spam folder. Second is check for grammatical errors. Very, very important thing. I personally really look into it because I receive mails where people do not actually go deep into checking whether the language is correct, whether there are grammatical errors, because it creates a very bad impression on the receiver. If you're sending a personalized message, then make sure that the name of the receiver is correct and also spelled correctly. I'll give you an incident. Yesterday I received a message from a company who wanted to collaborate for some things with my organization, and he had sent me a LinkedIn message. So I opened the message and I found the name wrong. So the first impression was that, okay, maybe he was sending messages to everyone and he just copy pasted and sent it across to me. And he didn't even care to see what was the name written there. So my immediate impression was, okay, I will go back and check which company is this and who was the person. And next time whenever I receive a message, forget about business. Next time when I receive the message, maybe I'll not even open it. So this is very, very important, like how exactly you're addressing the person. Because again, we go back to the emotional, the psychological factor of the receiver, like how they are perceiving your message. After reading the email, so now that your receiver has read the mail, you've done all those things. So what exactly do you want your receiver to do? So what is the purpose? After reading the mail, you actually need to handhold the reader and lead them to what you want them to do. So include a very clear call to action. Action verbs, like very simple action verbs that works are like shop now, register, subscribe, etc. should be used. So that you are actually telling the users that now you've read the mail, this is what you need to do, and it's there in their mind, it will automatically go and click on it. Next very important part is our planning. We need to stay planning in the sense like the frequency of the mail. When you now everything is done, like when you want to send the email out, we need to stay top of mind and with periodic emails with valuable content. So decide on the frequency of your emails and also the perfect time for sending those emails. Data shows that late morning emails work best around 10 a.m., late evening 8 p.m. as well works well. Again, these are data, but again it depends on whom you are targeting, who is your audience, which part of the world your audience is from. The demographics play a very important part, and what is the message that you are actually sending across. So all these things are done. The next comes a very important part. Now we need to track. All done. Has now come the most important part. What was the result of our campaign? Did it really work? I always see, like whatever marketing campaign we have done since I've worked on the client side, always I've been interacting with a lot of agencies. So our main question was, okay guys, you told us to spend this much amount of money, these tools you told us to use. Now what happened? What's the result? I need to see the result. Did it really work? So most email marketing providers, like most of you will be knowing about these things, most email marketing providers can track your emails and allow you to view the results in an email tracking report. So email tracking reports can help us to understand which emails bounced, why they bounced, who opened the emails, who opened your email, what links they clicked, who unsubscribed from your emails, or maybe who forwarded your emails. So by this we can get to the basics, like we can get to the basic calculation by calculating your spend, calculating your gain, and do your basic math by gain minus spent by spent, which comes to your simple ROI. So we get the numbers. So as a marketer, every marketing campaign must produce a healthy return, and you should be able to calculate it easily. So it's vital that your campaigns are always linked to your goals. So here we come to ROO, that my previous keynote speaker was talking about. So next, let's talk about some common email marketing faux pas. So we all have experienced bad emails. Every day we do experience them. Or mails that are so annoying, or mails that we don't even want to open. If at all we do, it creates a very bad impression, and either we tend to tend to send those mails to our spam folder, or we even tend to not open any emails coming from that organization in future, or that person in future. So let's now look at some of the email marketing faux pas that we all have experienced. Excessive punctuations, all capital letters. Most of us might be receiving this kind of mails or messages. Spelling mistakes, wrong names, examples that I just cited. Long and repetitive messages which will just bore your audience, like you're taking the same thing again and again and again in different paragraphs. Boring subject lines, which we discussed before. Distracting images and cluttered layout. Like when your receiver there's too much happening, it's too busy. The artwork is so busy that your reader is not being able to understand like what exactly is the message, what they need to do, what you're trying to portray here. No call to action. You're not telling your readers like what action they need to take. Using cliche and sales-heavy jargons. Mails coming from a spammy-looking email ID. Forgive me for the typo there. Email IDs like do not reply at such-and-such.com. We do receive such mails, and we are like, okay, this has been not sent by some individual. This is maybe sent by some machine. So we really don't want to reply to those mails. One-size-fits-all attitude, creating a mail and sending it to everyone without thinking about the audience, without thinking about your target audience, without thinking about the demographics and how they are going to perceive those emails. Overspending or sending or spamming inboxes, sending the same mail again and again if you're not getting response. If you're not getting response, maybe you can send a reminder. But don't keep sending, sales mails or push the clients. There should be always a pull effect after your first communication. Not optimizing email for mobile viewing, which we discussed previously. A bad email, for example, I would like to quote Mr. Chris Marriott here. A bad email reputation is like a hangover, which is absolutely hard to get rid of. Next, here I've got some examples of some reputed organizations and how they communicate through emails. First, if we see Uber. This email theme is actually a promotional theme that they are doing. So there is a simple design, very simple design. What you can see here is a very simple design, very tasteful and direct selling point, minimalistic text, very sharp call to action. They want you to grab a pass, and they have links connected to their website. So if you really want to get additional information, you can just click on those links and go to their website. Next is Starbucks. Again, very simple design, tasteful, direct selling point, and they have given the links to their shop, so you can go and check it. This is kind of an informational theme email that they have used because they're providing you information and they're just connecting to their online shop. Next is Airbnb. This is kind of a relational theme email that they have done. So they do send out, like when we all book through booking.coms and Airbnbs, our accommodations and hotels. So they do send out this kind of emails. Again, it's very, very crisp, minimalistic text, very direct selling point, and this is a survey that they want to conduct, so you know what exactly is done here. So what makes this email campaign special is, again, clear objective, very clear and uncluttered design, straightforward text, and a very pointed call to action. Now we come to my company. like how we are doing it. We are a 1-year-old baby company. So how we are doing it, we take email marketing very seriously. ROI does matter to us. It's a very important thing for us because we have to see that whatever currency we spend on marketing, gives us the maximum results. So what we are doing is we are implementing our campaigns as per our objectives, company objectives, and going forward we'll take actions to make our user experience better by the day by implementing a lot of new techniques and methods. We design our emails as per our objectives, as I say. So we have examples of here promotional mails. We are introducing some of our new products, but we are not actually selling the product directly. We are telling what are the benefits of the product. Secondly, there is a procedural mail. If you see, when a new person subscribes to our platform or there's a new customer, they always receive the welcome mail from us. There are informational mail also. Somebody has made a purchase. We provide them with the information, with thank you note, and with the detailed information about the products. There you can see a example of a relational email also. We have internal stakeholders also who are our partners. So we keep sending them emails from time to time, to build the relationship, as well as with our customers. So sometimes there are mails on certain occasions which goes out with my signature, so that it's more personalized and we make them feel important and they know that okay, this is some kind of mail has come from the founder directly. So this is what we are doing. I think I'm running out of time, so I'll just quickly rush. So there are some top 5 trends which I'll quickly go through for 2020. One is email automation, and I would definitely like to implement some of this for our own organization. Email automation, this will be more relevant to the user for the human touch. Of course, AI and machine learning will enable marketers to set performance benchmark more easily. Dynamic segmentation, of course, we are doing it currently. So trend will be to update the segments with real-time data. It will help to update customer lists based on previous interaction. Google is doing it, Facebook is doing it, a lot of online e-commerce platforms are currently doing it. Alt text for visually impaired subscribers. This is something I would definitely be interested in for our communication. So email coding will get more powerful. This will be used for every image to help visually impaired subscribers to read emails through screen readers. Next is interactive design. Subscribers will get to see animated CTA, interactive hotspots, menus, etc. This is also another very interesting thing. The last one is voice assistance. There is an immense competition between Siri, Alexa, Cortana. As screen space which is becoming smaller and smaller, it's impossible that voice assistants will be used to read emails in the future. So in 2020, we will see a lot of technology-driven email campaigns. The best possible way to make your email marketing campaign is to integrate it with available technology. So here at the top, So what I can do is I can conclude, I will run out of time, so I can conclude by saying that it's obvious that the death of email marketing is actually exaggerated. Email marketing is very much alive and important to reach audience across demographics. So let us keep those emails flowing because that inbox is really very, very powerful. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions from the floor at this point? Is it okay? No, okay, I'm sure you'll be around if anyone does have any. I just have one little tip. When you send out those emails and you're doing a bulk one, please remember BCC and not CC. You share my private email, you don't want to see the one that's coming back at you, that's for sure. Thank you so much. That was great.